Having a limited range of motion in your shoulders, particularly shoulder flexion, can be an uncomfortable feeling. The shoulder joint can move more than many other joints in the body, with normal shoulder flexion reaching 180 degrees and extension reaching 45 to 60 degrees. So if you can't raise your arms straight up to the sky comfortably, then there's a simple fix, assuming your range of motion isn't limited by an injury like a rotator cuff or shoulder impingement. The likely culprit for most people who have limited shoulder flexion range of motion is tightness in two muscles, specifically the latissimus dorsi and the pec major. So when you understand the function of these muscles, you'll see why these can restrict your shoulder range of motion. The latissimus dorsi is the biggest muscle on your back, and it's responsible for concentrically performing shoulder extension, abduction, and internal rotation, meaning it produces force and shortens whenever you move your shoulders in these positions. Your pec major is the major muscle of your chest that concentrically produces horizontal adduction as well as internal rotation of the shoulder. When you have poor posture or you slouch a lot, you're inadvertently putting strain on these muscles for a long time, which causes them to tighten, limiting your shoulder range of motion. So here are a couple of stretches that you can do for your pecs and your lats that should open up your shoulders right away. The first stretch you can do to open up your lats is a kneeling lat stretch. So using a chair or a stability ball, place both hands on the ball with your thumbs pointing to the sky. Start with your knees under your hips in a kneeling position, extend your arms forward, then push your hips slightly back until you feel the stretch along the side of your back. The low back can slightly round to assist the stretch, but be sure not to round excessively. Hold the stretch for 30 to 60 seconds for 1 to 3 reps. As you're resting after your lat stretch, you can go ahead and do your pec stretch. Place your arm in an L position against a wall, stagger your stance, and slightly lean your chest forward until you feel a stretch in your chest muscles. Feel free to play around with your arm position a little, as you may find a deeper stretch with your arm higher or lower on the wall. Again, hold this stretch for 30 to 60 seconds for 1 to 3 reps on both sides. Now obviously there are many other ways to stretch your lats and your pecs. These are just 2 simple stretches that most people can do regardless of equipment, availability, strength, or injuries. Once you've done these stretches though, test your shoulder range of motion and see if you can now reach straight up with less restriction. You can prevent shoulder restriction from happening in the future by determining the root cause of how they got there in the first place. So if you find yourself slouching all the time, then your lats and your chest will go back to being in a tight and shortened position, and this will just bring your shoulders back to their immobile ways. So try to be mindful of your posture throughout the day and make stretching a daily habit to keep yourself supple.